what Slaw did was, you know, I think sometimes in like a young man's life, you gotta have somebody to teach you yourself value. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really understand it until I met Slaw. So Slaw was the one. I remember I was going to a beat battle or something, and I was like, "Yo, I'm about to dip." He was like, "Where you going?" I was like, "I'm about to go back to Louisville, be in this beat battle, producer battle." He was like, "For what?" And I was like, "Come John Woo." I said it. I was like, "Come John Woo." He was like, "Hey man, why you?" He's like, "Don't put your reputation up for grabs. You don't do that after you work this hard to get a reputation like you got." He's like, "You John motherfucking Woo." He's like, "You should be offended that they didn't ask you to be a judge." And it clicked, and I was like, "Damn, you Rush." And then again, he did the business for everything I needed when I needed a whatever. I remember ordering drum sounds one time. I was like, "Yo, I need some more drum sounds." And I remember I had to order zip discs. Remember zip discs? Yeah. And this is at the back of a magazine.
Yeah,
like you can hear the sounds. Oh, cool. That shit.
Back of the source.
Can't hear the sounds on that. And it's just like we got sound. And I remember it was $500 for this disc. And I went to Slaw. I was like, "Yo, I need it." And he got it for me. Anytime I needed bread, he took care of me. And so that's where I kind of understood the structure of like it's how you run a business as a group. As you know, if you're doing music, this is how the roles everybody got to play, you know, stuff like that. So it was a dope experience. I got to be really evolve into John Woo there.
Right. Now, my little quick little piece of that, that's when, you know, FG started doing their thing, or they had probably been doing their thing, but because we were going to recording that Twin, because like you said, you got to bring Twin up. Twin had the studio over there on the block, so you shot it on her boat and record that Twin crib. But I can remember those times when you lived in Louisville. We would go, you know, get some gas money, come up to the Ville, pick you up, and then we'll go out to Frankfurt. And that's why I said it was cool just being in them places and seeing you produce, make beats, or, you know, them going in the studio and recording, doing their thing. So that was definitely a time. And I run into Johnny Cook all the time. Lotto. So I run into him all the time. And I see him at the gym, and I was like, "Yo, I know this dude." But I couldn't put it together until Raj came into the gym one day and they were talking. I was like, "That's it." Yeah. He used to be over there with Slaughterhouse back in the day.
Yeah.
Because we used to come up there all the time and, you know, be on the scene with them dudes.
Yeah. And go back what you were saying about like we didn't have no studios and nothing, right? Coming up, I would remember that. So when I had that studio, that's why I was like, man, I would make sure y'all got in. I would make sure Native got in. I would bring a handful of people because I was like, "Yo, I don't know anybody else that got one of these. So pull up, like, you know." And I'm in here all day, every day. And that was such a joy working with Raj and Maine, bro, because it was like, again, they reminded me of affiliation. You know, it was like from the same cloth. They was MCs. Yeah. And was more my style, like people who was sharp with a pen. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it was dope that not only affiliation came from Hardin County, but they came from Hardin County. You know, like they weren't none of these guys were corny. You know what I'm saying? They were like, I could take them we could go to New York and compete at that time on some level. That's how nice we was. So
I remember just getting those Woo beats. Like I had plenty of CDs with just Woo beats, and you know what I'm saying.
I'll tell you a funny story. So it was I was at Twin's crib, right? Twin had an MPC and he had a Planet Mofat rack and it's sounds and shit, right? I remember I flipped some sample, and I think Raj was there. I flipped some sample. Raj and Maine was there, and they hear it. And I remember it was the first time I ever flipped like a soul sample and sped it up and put the crazy drums to it. And I remember they was like, "Yo, that's for us, right?" And I was like, and I remember sitting there like, and I'm in the middle of making it, but I remember I was like, it was like, it's like hitting a home run and you're in the middle of watching the ball go, but you know it's out, but you're like, I was like that pressing the pads, like, I can't believe this, I'm making this. And when he asked for the beat, I was like, "No. This is mine. This is me." And he kept asking. I was like, "Nah, bro. Let me, you know." But that was just a funny memory. And the crazy thing is, like, after all these years, bro, I always try to find that sample because that was a moment for me when I was like, I think I like, you know, I elevated a little bit. I cracked a code, and I remember I was looking for that sample. I think like 30 years later, but I found it, and then I was like, "Holy shit!" Like
that's wild.
You know what I mean? I should try to sample it again, but I think I tried and I couldn't. It was just never the same. But that was a memory for me, man. You know, and yeah. So
Now, Sean, during that time, when Wu then was doing their thing, I'm sure you, Kels, Johnny, and Tyron was still doing y'all thing. Is that when you created when you guys started up X94? What was that? What was that time like for you doing the music and you getting in, getting into your to the music game deep too later on?
There was a moment in time that Tyron had us up there in Bowling Green. He was in Bowling Green, and we was up there recording with Nappy Roots at the time, and that was pretty wild. And it was before they had blown, you know what I'm saying? And they was on like
Four.
yeah, where it was before and I saw that they were featured on the South Park soundtrack. I was like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I was in this, you know what I'm saying? I went to the disc jockey or whatever. I looked for the CD. It's like, there it is. You know what I'm saying? I forgot it was like, it might have been the first movie or something.
That was mind blowing, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. It was. I was like, damn, this shit is happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we was up there rapping with it, man. Made it that much realer. You know what I'm saying? Like shit. And we always made raps and records and shit. But like when John took off, like once he started doing the business side of shit, like it was really hard to catch up with him. Yeah. Me and Kelly always made beats, made music. You know what I'm saying? But like it was just hard to catch up with John. Like once it clicked with him, like all right, I can produce. You know what I'm saying? I can do that anytime. But I think when he switched up and just started busting moves, you know what I'm saying? It changed the whole game up. And you know what I'm saying? Whenever we get back together, you know what I'm saying? It is what it's all love. It's how it is what it is. But
yeah, it's crazy that you say that about Nappy Roots. They was recording in the studio because at a point in time when I lived in Bowling Green, we recorded. It was a white dude who they used to record with up there in Bowling Green, right?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't know the engineer's name. He wasn't a white dude, though.
He wasn't a white. Well, it was. I never forget. We found a studio with this one white cat. I can't remember his name, but that's who we ended up. Yeah, Bowling Green.
Right?
Yeah, I was in Bowling Green.
Right.
You came down a couple of times. Man, woo, I come up to Frankfurt, get shit, man. You send me back with shit. I'm passing out all types of stuff. You feel me? It was just, it was cool to do. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, it made you feel like you were in that in that lane. So, but Tremaine would also record.
Yeah.
And I come back with a CD. So my whole thing was I would go get it to the DJs and go spin some records at the parties.
Let me give you your flowers real quick. People don't know this, but I'm gonna say it live. But you the reason why me and Ness got so cool.
Oh man.
But people don't know that because me and Ness that's one of my best friends. Right, he blew up as a producer, platinum plaques, Billboard #1s, and he from Bowling Green. But if it wasn't for you bringing him to my because when I met, he's Philly. Was it Philly Phil then?
We called him Philly Phil back then. Yeah, Philly. That's the only way I know it to call. If I see him, I'll be like, man, what up, Philly Phil?
One of the best producers I've ever known, like for real. And
I never forget that.
Yeah, and I remember you brought him to my crib. I remember him reaching out to me. I don't know who he is. He's like, yo, I want to come get in the studio. I'm like, all right, yeah. I'm like, yeah, all right, pull up, And he pulled up. Yeah, Will dropped him, brought him to my crib.
Brought him to the crib.
I was like,
I was coming home. Philly Phil was like, yeah, he hopped in with me. I think I met you in Marjar, like at the bottom of Marjar Hill. Because at that time you lived out there, like right out there by that Walmart in Valley Station or something like that. You stay right out there. So you just met me and I would pick him up. So anytime I came to the crib, Philly Phil would hit me. He's like, yo, you going home this week? I was like, yeah. He said, can I hop her? Yeah, come on. Yeah, hop in with me.
We would go to the studio.
You know what I mean?
Go sleep in the studio. And then watching his rise, like, it's so beautiful, bro, because it's like, again, it was the same scenario. Somebody had told him he wasn't shit and he wasn't gonna make it, and it was somebody that was close to us and was like, yo, nah, bro, he ain't got it. I'm gonna just keep it real with you, he ain't got it. And I didn't believe that. And then a month later, he's out of here. And that other dude had to watch it. Yeah. And I'm just like, you gotta eat that. You know what I'm saying? And so I think I'm petty, bro. I think I really am. Deep down, I'm like, I got a layer of pettiness to me, because it's like, you play me funny, man. I'm gonna show you, whether it's tomorrow, next year, or 20 years from now. I'm gonna make sure you have to acknowledge me. You know what I'm saying? But I think I'm petty, bro. Because even that, I got mad at that when I was more mad than Ness was. I was like, yeah, all right, bet.
Yeah, we definitely finna make this shit happen.
You know, and then it happened. So
I feel that.
you know what I mean?
Now, years later, after, you went off to go do your thing with Slaughterhouse, you were definitely out there doing your thing, moving around, rocking with Native, producing major records for people in the industry, rocking with Philly Phil, all of those type of things. Bread Boy Entertainment, Tex, Calvin, Cam Dollars, Sweet, and all of them, they would end up coming up on the scene. And pretty much to me, I look at Bread Boy, it's no different than Country Boy to me. It was the local up and coming artists, a part of a label, and they start doing their thing. What's your experience with dealing with Bread Boy, and do you remember them coming up on the scene and doing their thing?
Yeah,
because I think that's not to have this a long drawn out, but I think that was part of the conversation that we were having on the Mount Rushmore was the Country Boy Entertainment CBE and Bread Boy Entertainment BBE, and just both of their influences for the hip hop community out here. You know what I'm saying? So, what was your experience like dealing with or hearing or working with Bread Boy?
I mean, honestly, like when it comes to like everybody in the camp, I'm cool with everybody, and then I watched them do what they did, and just being honest with you, at the time, I never had a problem with Bread Boy. The problem that I have with a lot of people is not personal. It's I'm watching you do everything wrong, and you're not even attempting to do it right. And I think going back to Troy, and again, I think everybody's just naive. They don't know, but they led with more ego than business. And that's what I learned when I got older. And that's why I say when I look back, I was like, oh, that was ego. That wasn't business. You know what I'm saying? And, I moved differently. But they did their thing and they made some noise and they was busy, but I don't think they really impacted like that because they just didn't do certain things the correct way. And again, still, they're new, they're learning, they don't know everything. I didn't know everything, but that's what, to me, kind of diminishes that value. But was they out there? Yeah, they was the first ones to be in Louisville and be in award shows, and so they were trying. I give that to them. It just they couldn't figure it out, and that goes back to like Troy. It's like, if did they try? Did they give the honest try? Yeah, hell yeah. Like they just never figured it out.
Right, because I feel like when Troy them and Country Boy were doing their thing, the business was a particular type of way. It was real hard to break into. It wasn't easily accessible to get certain things and to get access to certain things. And then when you get Bread Boy, I feel like when Bread Boy came on the scene, the game had changed a little bit more. So a lot of things were a little bit more accessible. They could push their music out there a lot more. Yeah. So a lot of people knew, about Bread Boy. A lot of people knew about Cam Dollars. And the cool thing about Cam Dollars that I think was dope is that Cam also had the opportunity as a shorty to work with Troy.
Yeah.
But then I think after Troy left and, when he left and went on to go do his own thing, Cam was he was around here, kid around here, probably still writing raps, doing his thing. But then he ended up they ran into Tex and Bread Boy's thing. They put that thing together.
Yeah. So. And I mean, I'm not knocking it, right? Because I did the same thing. We tried to do the same. We tried to figure it out. And so I'm not knocking it. So, anybody watching, we're not saying it for those reasons. But I remember when Cam and Sweet and all them started doing music, and they gave it a real try. They really tried to get out and network. They would be at events. And I think that was the first time when I started seeing people from Radcliffe pop up in Louisville. You know what I'm saying? Which was cool to see because it was like, yeah, we right up the street. And so that kind of started that, I think, in my opinion. They were the first ones to kind of like break out of Radcliffe a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, like, who is it? I don't know. Well, then you got like, I guess after that, who was it? Like, you got Rube and you got all them.
Yeah, you got Rube. So that's what I said. Like a lot, you had Rube, Run 87 Rube started doing his thing. So I feel like this is Rube's era. Now, RP Rube, definitely a super cool cat, super dope artist. I actually had him come on the Come Up Corner one time before he ended up spitting, doing his thing. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of the cats who are rapping now would be kind of like up under what Rube was.
It was unfortunate he passed away because I think he was getting a little bit of motion. I think Lotto was trying to work with him right before he passed. So, so it was unfortunate he didn't get his time. He didn't get enough time to do anything. But yeah, I mean, you got Rube and them. Then you get like you know, like, you know, back to the Rushmore conversation real quick. If two for sure for me. Well, I mean, obviously it's just my favorites, but like you gotta put Dame on there too.
Yeah.
It's like you can't
You can't
almost
leave
not
Dame
say
out.
you can't, because if you want to be technical, who's the most relevant artist from rap with today?
Dang.
Dame is the only one that people in Louisville know. He's the only one who done shot 1,000 videos. He the only one that been out in LA and that's the only one.
Yeah.
If we're being technical. So to me, he's obviously got to be on there for relevance sake, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously I got Vernette, and I know you ain't asked me for my picks.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm
we'll get there.
gonna get there. But I want to ask Sean real quick because he also brought up Bread Boy too. Now when they were doing their thing, I think Tex was working with Kels a little bit, right?
That's how I met them. Is Tex would go up there, and Sweets and Cam would go up to Kels and lay some tracks, and that's how I met them. I never really met them outside of that. You know what I mean? But when I met Tex, I would go over there to him and to his house and check up and see what's going on and see what was, you know what I'm saying, see what they doing, what they're up to. But as far as that, I didn't really like hang out one-on-one with them. I did was mostly straight up music.
Straight music, yeah. Now, because I remember, I think at one point in time, Tex was just Bread Boy beats. So it was just a beat thing for him. And then when Calvin came on board, I don't know how it worked, but I think they ended up turning into Bread Boy Entertainment. Because I still wasn't here. I remember just being in Bowling Green, and they were coming down to Bowling Green to Good Times, and they were moving, you know, so they were moving around doing their thing. So you heard, and I come back home, you know, and I knew Sweet from a shorty from, you know, when he stayed on Knox, because back in the day, you know, everybody worked at the commissary.
Yeah,
his mother used to work at the commissary. So
I showed it.
we was bagging groceries. You say you didn't?
I did.
He did. Yeah.
So what? So what? I kind of say.
Saturday, Sunday.
I would make $20. I would go make $10, and as soon as I made $10, I would walk down the PX, go buy a Whopper from Burger King, and go to the arcade. Then when I was broke, I would go right back to bagging up the street.
Right. Hey, you know, I'm saying, get right to it. So yeah, but his mother worked up there, so that's how I ended up knowing Sweet. And she used to always talk about how, you know, he was rapping and doing his thing. And then when I was in Bowling Green and I come home, he worked at the commissary.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, when you gonna shoot our video? When you gonna shoot our video? You know what I'm saying? And we was just trying to figure that part out. So years later, when I did come back, I ended up purchasing a camera and started shooting videos.
That's crazy that I forgot you.
Yeah, I used to. That was my contribution. I couldn't rap. I couldn't produce no damn beats. Yeah. You feel me? There was no studio for me to press buttons and record anybody. So the only thing else I knew to do was get into the, you know, video game. Because when I went to school, I was like, at first I was going to go to school for radio. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then when I got there, I was like, I found out about the TV production. I was like, yo, maybe I could just shoot videos. Mm-hmm. That could be how I can be, you know, my contribution to the game.
Like a man doing that stuff. You're key like a man.
Man, you know, when they used to come up there, I would, you know, when Tremaine and Roger come up there, I would get to book this act. I met the people because, like I said, I was going out there with the CDs, passing them out, so I was connecting with people. So that's how we ended up finding the studio in Bowling Green, and we recorded all those records in Bowling Green. So
it was, y'all was kind of like the standard though. That opened up a lane for you. Like back in the days, I was kind of a snob about shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, where you get your beats from or something? And if they were from part of somebody that I knew, it was always kind of like, hey, well, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? And then like it was, you got to get these beats from Woo. You got to get these beats from Beta. If you're gonna get a video, you better get it from Will. You know what I'm saying? And that's like the prize package. You know what I'm saying? If you fucking with that, you well on your way. You know what I'm saying? Shit's gonna be fire. You know what I'm talking
about? Yeah. And that's what it was. And like during that time, I was working with everybody. That's all we did was shoot videos. I call that the open window media and Crack Doja area because Crack Doja from the Crack Doja was killing it. But we were, and it wasn't a competition. I think it wasn't a competition, but it was like a secret competition. Yeah. He was dropping. I was dropping. Everybody was just dropping. But during that time, we was just dropping.
Yeah, I think we was figuring out stuff around that era when we started kind of figuring it out. Like, oh, okay, you got to do a video. Oh, okay, we got to post it. We got to, you know what I'm saying? We started figuring it out. And but so I think all the other things before that led up to us kind of figuring it out, you know.
Yeah, because when I came back too, I started functioning with Bread Boy as well. I remember going out to, they were nominated. I don't know if they were nominated, but we went out to the Southern Entertainment Awards out in Memphis. They were dealing with the chick Mia. They had the Rhythm Liquor deal and all of that stuff. So all of that stuff was, back in that time, it was cool to see. You know what I'm saying? And they was moving around doing their thing. So shooting videos for them and, them being in the studio recording, rocking with Kels, them and Shean. It was, cause it was you, Kels, B-Rad. Was it somebody else?
Totally forgot about Brad.
Josh Band.
And Josh B. Yeah. I remember that was the whole little crew. So I remember shooting that. We shot something out by
down that damn graveyard.
in the graveyard. Yeah.
Where was I at? Louisville? This song?
It was down. It was in E-Town.
No, I mean, where was I at? Was I at Louisville? Just
On the move, man.
Yeah, well, you was on the move. You weren't down here.
I'm just wondering if I was in New York or Louisville though.
Yeah,
I think I was in Louisville.
Yeah, you were in Louisville. Yeah, you were definitely in Louisville during that time. So
I think he was working.
Probably.
You know what?
Yeah, there was a stretch where
you was. Yeah. It was that stretch when you was up there, Humana. Yeah.
answering the goddamn phone, getting told, "I'm dying. It's your fault."
Definitely.
And calls, but yeah, I mean, the music shit was cool though, and I think, like I said, Rackles got a cool lineage, and like that story is dope, and people forget about even when we talk about like Skrilla or Boss Skrilla, he was like the first person I knew that was like from Louisville or something. And I remember I was like, man, he's famous. He's from Louisville. So, all of these things happened, and I think it helped everything evolve. But I think Bread Boy might have been the first label from Radical that was like moving around and really trying to do it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Yeah, so we talked about the Mount Rush. We talked about the Mount Rushmore. Now, before you give your Mount Rushmore, I know you already did, but some people may not have been able to catch that. So you give it to them live right now. But when it comes to the Mount Rushmore, what makes someone eligible to be on that list from your perspective? And then same question for you too, Sean.
So my perspective is, so all right, if it's subjective, then it's just whatever you like, right? But if there's some, we can't really say. Just me personally, I don't think we could say you got to base it off impact, because really, there was really no, people did shit, but it was no lasting. There's nothing after that. It kind of started and it stopped, right? At least on a macro level. On a micro level, might have been some people influenced by it, but not notably, right? We can't call back in history and say, because this happened, this definitely happened. So impact, I don't think. I think it's just should be it's more based off of like skill and who tried the hardest. Because technically nobody really made it. It's like, so, and that ain't no diss. I'm just saying, if we want to be fair, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I don't like the participation trophies. Like, well, I deserve to be a Mount Rushmore because I did this for 2 years. If I asked you what was the first phone that made cell phones possible? Do you know?
What?
Point is, you don't know.
No. If I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say Motorola.
That's my point, though.
Yeah.
But that's my point, is that you don't know, because all you talk about is the iPhone as the greatest ever. You know what I mean? So when we have these conversations, like, you gotta be careful saying the Mount Rushmores, and because what is that based off of? Opinions or facts? And if we based on facts, there ain't a lot of facts. So I think it's skill set and who tried the hardest, and who longevity.
Right. And I would say when that topic came up on the pod, GB, this area is a melting pot. So not everybody is from here. So people come in here in different waves, and then they end up leaving. And so GB, I don't know how long he had been here, what he knew about Country Boy, but him being a little bit younger, he's not going to really know who Country Boy was, who was affiliated with Country Boy, because from my understanding, their run was from like 97, 98 to probably like 2001, 2002. So you gotta think, at those times, this guy's not really, knowing who, he may not know who those people were, depending on the time that he came here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that Mount Rushmore, talking about Mount Rushmore too, I feel like you have to talk about that in eras. So that was a totally different era.
Exactly. Just to
as well.
keep it fair.
Yeah, just to keep it fair. So you can't say like I don't want a Derek Dorsey or
greatest of all time.
you know what I mean, to be upset because nobody said his name, but
I'm
did not continue.
He's from my era.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that
continue to rap, so they're not gonna know who you are.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And so
versus like a Dame, you know, when he was like for Dame, speaking of Dame, like when I first met Dame in like 2009, but like you just said, people still today in 2026 know Dame because
that's why I feel like you got for you know, you got to put him there. I think he should be on everybody.
Yeah, he got to.
If we're being fair.
Yeah, it's a couple people who have to be on that.
But if we're being subjective again, if this is your choice, that's different, right? Yeah. It's just who you know and who you remember, whatever. Right. But in terms of history, if we're speaking like a real official that's not subjective, I think like you got to put he spot on there for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Now, Sean, what criteria do you think that it takes for somebody to be on a Mount Rushmore list?
Probably basically just who I listen to. I don't really look into the business that much. You know what I mean? How much waves they make. If I hear your shit and I like it, then I like it. You know what I mean? It's not really too much more than that. Like all the motion that people get and all the different shit like that don't really faze me that much. If I like it, then I like it. You know what I mean?
Who's your? Let's just say who's one of yours, or who's what's your? Was it 4?
Yeah, 4. The Mount Rushmore.
Who's your 4?
What are we talking about?
Just your favorite people from Radcliffe.
Radcliffe?
Or for Hardin County. Let's say Hardin County.
Yeah, Hardin. I do Radcliffe.
Okay.
It's Bernay. Mm-hmm. Everything that he drops, I listen to it, no matter what. And Jay Sin, I fuck with Jay Sin. Mm-hmm. I fuck with Money. And I fuck with B. Lee.
Oh, so, all right, so let's go there.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, B. Lee's not... Hey,
I check for them, man. Like, if they drop something, then I check for them.
Oh, B. Lee's not from Hardin County. So he's disqualified. Nah, I'm getting him a hard time.
We did have that conversation.
No, I'm just kidding. Be honest with you, I think B. Lee deserves to be in the conversation because he was here in that during time, and everybody thought he was from Radcliffe. I feel like, and he was nice. So it's like I think you gotta put him in the conversation. Hardin County,
please. You know what I'm saying? It was a toss-up between them. You know what I'm saying? But when like I've heard some shit, I'm like, goddamn. You know what I'm saying? In the Sweets too. You know what I'm saying? They dropped some shit to where I'm like, shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's good shit. It's something that I would listen to. You know what I'm saying? Not just because they from around here. I'll bump the shit. You feel me?
And see, at this time, during this era, I'm judging differently because I'm so into the business side of things. You see what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it like, I'm not looking at it like Baron is nice. He is nice, but I'm like, I don't care. Like, y'all, what's the business? What's happening on the business side? Right? Like, is this working? Are we, you know? So that was where my frustration came in. But B. Lee was nice. I thought he was dope. And even the videos he would do, he would try to make some really creative videos. I was like, yo, you know.
Yeah. I gave B. Lee a hell of a time too because I was like, you went to school in Meade County. I was like, I used to always be on some, you know what I mean, just an asshole, just like, you know, it's different walking through those Meade County hallways than it is walking through the North Hardy hallways, you know what I'm saying? Because if you walk through those North hallways back in the day, like it was certain hallways, if you walk down there, you know, you may end up in a battle. Or if you walk down the hallway with Chris McFadden, Tyrone Lawson, and all of them, you might get clowned. Yeah. You feel me? So you had to be, so you just had to be on point either way, whether you were an artist or whether or not you were just a regular person walking down the hallway. Because you know, back then it was like, you know, they would have joking sessions and it was like no free laughs. Yeah. So if you were in the cut laughing, they might just pick you out of the cut and just ride you out the whole time. So that's why I used to always say for B. Lee, it's different walking in those North Hardin hallways, you know, but at the same time, I still feel like, hey, you know what I mean? He is a part of that cloth. Like he came to Radcliffe, he was with them. I think he's a part he was doing those things. Yeah, he's definitely a part of that.
He's earned that, you know what I mean?
For sure. And he, and like you said though, definitely had some nice records, definitely got super creative with a lot of the stuff that he did.
Yeah, you know, they really tried, bro, and I give that to them. Like, they really tried. I seen them do things, and I know they're trying. They're trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? It's not just like unintentional. So, you know, they really did try. It didn't work out, but they tried too. You know what I'm saying? So,
I think that Calvin always says B. Lee probably has one of a record that's probably like the most
Like stream.
stream record.
I think
anybody
he had
from
some
around
moments.
this. Yeah, so he had some moments. I know he went out to L.A. and he ended up working with. I can't remember the dude's name. We talked about it one time, but I think the dude was is the dude connected to TDE? I can't think of the dude's name, but he ended up doing a record with him. Super.
He
dope.
did. I know he did. Yeah. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Super dope. So what?
When you said CDE, it reminded me of when he tried to do. He tried to act like J. Cole was interested in him, and that's what turned me off because I knew it was fake. You know what I'm saying? And I remember seeing it. It's like, bro, what are we doing? Like, just rap, But I remember that, and I remember that. Then it was shit like that I didn't like. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he was nice. It's like you had to do all that, but yeah, he was moving around. He had some moments. He was on. Was it B? He did something with BT.
Yeah,
he busted that move.
Yeah, he did.
And again, whether it worked or not, people don't. Me going to New York, people don't realize, man, it's risky. Like to take those chances, get up because you can get up there and get embarrassed or whatever.
Yeah,
I remember. Remember Tyrant from Louisville?
Yeah.
I remember when he got on Rap City and got destroyed because somebody said something about KFC chicken. Or you know what I mean? And I remember it's like that's real risky to take them chances. So I applaud,
Yeah, one day now I'm gonna give you my Mount Rushmore, and then I'm gonna let y'all get into y'all's. But before I say that, I'll never forget too. We went to 106 Park, took the picture with AJ and Free. Yeah. Deuce had that blown up in the shop. That was
shout out Five Deuce. It's my guy.
Yeah,
right there. Rest in peace. And yeah, man. And see, people don't know that.
Yeah,
like Deuce was one of them dudes who like, man, come to the shop, play your beats, man. And I just go in there and play beats all day. And he put me on. He got me business. People want to buy beats and so but yeah, shout out Five Deuce.
Yeah. Now, shout out Five Deuce for sure. I worked with this stuff with him when he was doing parties and everything. So it was Deuce was a cool cat for real, man. Real player, you know what I'm saying?
He reminded me of L. And the L's like-minded. But yeah, who you?
Now, so my Mount Rushmore, so we did that. They asked me my Mount Rushmore. And so for me, I definitely said I had to put Cam Dollars in there because when I met Cam and he was doing his thing, Cam was like, you went to Louisville, you went anywhere, everybody knew who Cam Dollars was. So I had Cam. I put Sweet in there because I felt like, and I still feel like, Sweet pen game, not a lot of people can really mess with Sweet's pen game. I think that if Sweet had, he pulled the Lauryn Hill on us. He gave us This Is Me, then he dipped. You know what I'm saying? And he never put anything else out. So technically, I don't know if I could, leave Sweet in there because he gave us one thing. But just by his pen game and stuff that he sends me today,
So
got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Sweet's just one of them. I always said Sweet is probably one of the only artists that I really came by that could go and make it up out of here. Whether that is an artist for himself or ghostwriting or doing something like that. I think if he figured out how to, do the ghostwriting for people, that he would be able to make a lot of money in the business. Then I had to put my boy Dame in there because, like we said, Dame, been knowing him since I first came on the scene. It was crazy how me and Dame met because at that time he was running with Vance and
I forgot about Vance.
He got Vance and you still got Flippin' Stat when they was doing their thing. So that's Flippin' Stat, J Jungle, and all of the artists that he had under him as well. So you had that, and then so I definitely put Dame there, but because like I said, when I met him, that's who he was running with. Vans. They had just came back from New York, a meeting, trying to get a deal. I know he did the thing with Soulja Boy, and he was doing his thing, and then he's still doing his thing till today. So I definitely got to put Dame on that list. But then I also put, for me, it's a personal one, and he probably can't be on the list either because they really didn't do much. But I put Mano because, that was who I work with. That's one of my...
Tremaine?
Yeah, Tremaine. So it's just like, Tremaine.
You can't, though.
But because, we didn't...
Man, that time frame, because that's what, like, everybody else is using their rules, right? Talking about their period.
Yeah.
In that era... Like, come on, bro. FG was like, they was the shit.
Yeah.
Maine was like, think about it. Everybody in Radcliffe knew who Maine was, and they was like, they feared that little guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I remember
My list was more contemporary. You feel what I'm saying? Like the greats, I can't even come up with it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like people who still got action, you know what I'm saying? I think that's my favorites, you know what I'm saying? Now, I wouldn't say that they're the greatest of all time. Maybe
That's
they
your
are, but
person.
that will be. Just who I listen to, you know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
contemporary people that still create music. That's who I listen to.
Yeah. And I think my measuring rod is more so like who broke through the noise, who broke out of the, who did I listen to back then or through this time frame that I didn't feel like they were trying. They did it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it would be like, I mean, it would be Affiliation. That was because I was blown away by them. I would say Dame has to be on there on my list, right? I would say Renee has to be there. And then and you know, just talking about my favorites, I would say FG. So I would say FG, Dame, Renee, and
Affiliation.
And Affiliation. And to me, those are my favorites. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Nah, I mean, and like I said, it all comes down to personal preference.
Yeah.
Like nobody can be left off. Like Sean said, money. When you said money, you talking about Money Soldier, right?
Sure.
Right. Yeah, Money Soldier and Job Big Body Kai, they definitely do they definitely do their thing too.
Yeah.
So you got them, but he also said Jason. I remember when I first heard Jason, like I went on the hunt looking for Jason.
Then we also
because I wanted to shoot a video for him.
Yeah, I forgot about that, Jason. I forgot about Flipping Stack, Vance, and all them. So they were here, you know. So you gotta give them a nod. And then I mean, it's dope, bro. I think you should definitely get all these other people up here.
Yeah, that's what I want to. That's what I want to do. I definitely want to do that. Get everybody to come up. You know, talk about their experience. Because what we want to do is have Bread Boy and Country Boy come in and spin their music, because people always say they don't know that we exist up here.
Yeah.
You know, this is HOMI and Friends. Like this is just a spot, you know, where you want to pod, you can come pod. Other side, we got the clothing store. You want to come kick it, whatever vibe, just get into that, whatever mode you want to get in. This is what we here trying to provide for individuals. So we want to have that event. So we should be, we're talking about having that going on. So
Yeah.
you coming in, talking, this is just the kickoff to get that going. So we're gonna get there though. You know what I mean? So we're trying to get everybody to come in. So if y'all watching, y'all listening, man, tap in with us. And let us know how we can how I can reach out to you and get you on here and talk about your experience and the cloth of, you know, this whole Hardin County, Radcliffe, E-Town, hip hop.
And you know, if you watching, man, and you from our era, you have some history of our city, like get on here and talk about it. Like we don't do that enough.
Yeah.
We don't big up ourselves enough, you know what I'm saying? And I think we definitely should do that. So, you know.
Now, one more question for you. One more question for y'all before we get out of here. When you look at all of this right now, what artists from the area who, you know, would you say had the most impact?
What? That had the most impact?
Yeah. Oh, well, you said you really can't. You
really can't say. I mean, look, if you, all right, I really can't say. I mean, I think I have the most influence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know anybody even can compare slightly.
Yeah.
Hit from here, right? But I'm not a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the rap part, I don't know. I can't say because I don't know anybody that's, and I've been everywhere. So I'm in all these other cities and places. So I know what people hear from here and what they don't. The only person that I could even say is Dame. That's it. That's the only person that I personally know of that I've been in other cities and they know Dame. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
It's the only person, so it would have to be Dame for me.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm more of a technical guy, so his option might be different.
It's gonna have to be John. It's gotta be. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's gotta be. I know we don't like saying our own names for real. But like John is like, he's done so much more than like pretty much anybody around here. I mean, I've listened to tracks with him, with the people from the smack battles, shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Got shit with Wu-Tang. Come on, for God's sakes, bro.
Yeah, I don't think people know fully.
Are you for real, man?
They don't know. They don't.
Some of these one-off records are I don't even know how the fuck you got how the shit even came about for real, for real. You never even told me about it. You got some records with some hard hitting people, man.
Yeah, I think my first placement was Stack Bundles, which was crazy because at the time Stack Bundles, he's a legend.
Yeah.
But he got murdered shortly after that. So but me and Ness was producing with him. But produced with Uncle Murder, Coogee Raps. Like, I've been in a lot of rooms, bro. I've put in a lot of work. Wu-Tang, like you said, Ghostface, and not only that, but the community work I've done and building a creative community in Louisville. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. It's just it's just a lot of stuff that I've done that nobody has done. But that's the beauty of it, right? Because I feel like I was kind of the one of the ones that went through all the moments with everybody, and I broke out and I kind of made it somewhere. And I ain't made it yet, but I'm able to, bring things to the community and create some type of influence. Like, I can do that,
Man, well, you're friends with Erykah Badu, man. Come on, man.
Let's talk about it. I was waiting. I was gonna text you on the side, like, say Eric.
Man, you friends with Erykah Badu, man. That's
my dog. I just talked to her the other day too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool, man. It's mind blowing. Some of the people I know I'm telling you, bro, I'm cool with like Banner. The way me and Banner talk, it blows my mind every time because we talk like we homies. Like, he'll hit me up, send me beats, check this out, bro, and I'm just listening to his beats. Or we'll talk about tech or the business, but it's like I'm not talking to David Banner. It's like I'm talking to my homie. Yeah. And it's the same way with Erykah. Me and Erykah talk. We play anagrams. I play anagrams with Erykah Badu. Blows my fucking mind.
It's crazy.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just tripped out, bro. So it's like, I've had a good run, bro.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, that Producer's Corner was definitely dope. I used to always tell people, you get a chance, go check out Producer Corner. Wu's connecting the dots with a lot of individuals up there. So, and just being in that place, man, just being in that hip hop space is definitely dope. So,
yeah,
that was hard. I think that was great. We did a lot, man.
We did a lot, and I think sometimes I'll be in the studio and I'll think about, because what year was it when we linked up, when we first met? It was at the youth center.
Youth center, so that had to be like 97, 98.
So you got to think, bro. We knowing each other from. Think about this. I've been doing music ever since. You've been in this world ever since, right? Been doing it for a long time, bro. A long time.
And it's just constantly evolving. Like I said, it went from, me just, managing to not even managing, just financing, managing, shooting videos to now, doing the podcast thing.
Yeah. And what's dope is like, y'all broke through a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, pioneer type shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't have nobody pointing you in any direction, you know what I mean? And now there's a direction to be pointed. So that's great for the up and comers. At least they know somewhat how to go about things and where to go and the certain channels and ways to go about doing things. At least somebody that's been through that can tell them how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't think Wu ain't took me out put me in the grass, man. Wu done took me to the grass too, man. A couple of times.
What?
Man, me and Wu used to always bump heads.
But here's the thing, but it's like, you know what? Like, people don't understand, like, I think people may not understand our dynamic a little bit because, I was raised by the Gregories.
Yeah.
And you was like, I think me and you were the only two that we were like the adopted brothers of that family.
For sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when I look at you, I look at it's my brother.
Yeah.
So
that's why, and I never really took it as nothing. I was like, I'm still gonna pop up, whatever, Wu mad with me. I mean, even with Tremaine and Raj. I mean, there was times when Tremaine and Raj would get mad. They don't, they wrote diss records to Wu done gave diss records back. We just always had that, but it's always been that thing. And I tell people all the time, like, Wu was my mentor when it comes to this music thing, because I could come to Wu and talk to Wu and just, he just giving me just different little gems. And like I said, I'll be back up at school passing out all type of slaughter house shit and, come to this, come to that, or whatever the case may be, because it was just, it was a thing. Oh, you know Wu? Yeah, I know Wu, man. Yeah, But yeah, I never forget that time when I came up to the battle. Me and Wu talked the whole battle. You remember that thing? It was out there like some warehouse spot. It was in Louisville.
It was like a Dope 16 event?
I think it was a Dope 16 event. Wu was like, yeah, man, I go over there, man. You won't come in this building.
Did I?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. You gotta remind me, bro.
Yeah, so we went up there. I forget what it was over. You know what I'm saying? What it was about. But I ended up pulling up to the Dope 16 battle. And when I came in, Woo, as soon as I pulled up, Woo was like, fuck. He saw me. He ran straight down on me. Was like, yeah, man, I'll make it to where you can't even get in here tonight. You feel me? Then we went in. And man, you was like this the whole night, back and forth, talk, boom, 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 back and forth. And we was just kept going back, you know what I'm saying? But it was all good, but it was taking me out into the grass because during that time, I think it was, the way I looked at things coming from Bowling Green, I was just on some super asshole shit sometimes, you know what I mean? But dealing with a lot of people, because we had the whole thing when we did the cipher. Remember when we did the pit cipher in place? Yeah. So that happened. So that happened. So a lot of people don't know about that. Like I was just talking to Calvin about the pit cipher, and they wasn't, and they were like, yeah, they felt like AJ put that event together.
But right.
So that whole event came from.
I remember that.
The whole event came from something that I had sparked because we had a conversation. You know what I'm saying? It ended up being like 500 comments, and then it turns into the pit cipher. That's how I met AJ.
Right
now, AJ financed and did everything for the pit cipher. You know what I'm saying? He put the money up, got the building, did all of that. But the whole idea, because my thing was, we need to create that in the tunnel environment. You know what I'm saying? Or like it's a grimy place. You got to be, scared when you come in. You're not necessarily scared, but we want that vibe. You got to come with them bars. If you're not coming,
And that was battle rap era, right?
And that was battle rap era. So that's how the pit cipher ended up creating. I had to go back and show Calvin my cousin created the flyers for the pit cipher. That was like 2013. So yeah, definitely dope times. Definitely.
I count down for one of those.
Yeah, but see, the initial one was the only one that I was a part of. After that, I stepped away from it, and they continue going on with the pit cipher. So the initial, because I think that it went from the pit cipher to the pit, and then Mark D started doing his thing.
I was gonna mention Mark. So like even Mark, you have to bring Mark.
Yeah, you gotta bring Mark.
How you can't mention rappers from here and not mention Mark when he was out in Louisville risking it all in front of hundreds of people battling people, right? And I'm having to stand there like, I'm from Radcliffe too. You know what I'm saying? I was like, can't lie, deny it. You know what I mean? But Mark would hold his own. Yeah. So how do you not give him his props? You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, that's why I think more importantly than, everybody has their own Mount Rushmore, but more importantly than somebody taking the conversation and making it some solidified thing. Yo, bro, all y'all come up here and share your stories because we have a lot of lineage, like Sean was saying, and we should share that and make people aware because I think maybe you'll be more proud of where you come from. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't never been in no interview in New York or LA and they ask, where you from? I say I'm from Radcliffe. Also, I'm from Louisville.
Yeah.
From Radcliffe.
Yeah, all day.
You know what I'm saying? So we should share those stories in a healthy way. And it's not always about being nice either. Just tell the truth. Like, tell the true history. Don't whitewash it. Tell the truth, what really happened. Own it. It is what it is. And let's paint the picture of this whole story. If I had the bread, I'd make a TV series about this shit. Yeah. Because we got a cool story.
It's enough material.
Yeah. That's enough. And nobody outside of us will maybe never know it, but we got a cool story, just like a lot of other small places. So we should share those stories. So everybody listening, Loke should get on here. Dorsey, you should get on here. Josh should get on here. Sean, you should have your own moment. Get on here and tell your stories because you have a lot of crazy stories. All of us, should do that.
Well, definitely. Anytime you want, Sean, let me know, man. We definitely gonna make that happen. Like I said, man, shit. Look, I was on the scene, Sean. I got Sean. Them diss me. Went crazy.
I think we all went at each other, but
it was a different time.
Yeah, it was different.
Yeah. So I came up from the battle and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And basically, for real, I ain't gonna lie. I was just trying to bait people into to do some pit type shit. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing personal.
That's all we kind of
do.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I was like, man, I listened to it. Me and Cam listened to it. We chopped on the phone because like, yo, they went kind of crazy.
I remember the Vernay when he dissed me. I remember I was like, man, that ain't shit. I was like, that's just whack. Then I remember when nobody was around, I was like, God damn. He really talked about
crazy. Yeah. He went crazy. That was definitely dope.
Yeah, so he was a great opponent, man. Shout out to Vernay. I know Vernay, if you watching, bro, hope you feeling better, bro. I know you just had a little thing, but we rooting for you, so
Definitely. And for y'all those that are out there, I want to go ahead and mention too, we also are going to I'm gonna drop the flyer soon, but we're gonna start doing the open mic night out here on Thursdays. I don't know if we're gonna do it once or twice a month, but we're gonna push that out on Thursdays. It's not gonna be your ordinary open mic. We want to get people in the building so we can get the content. You know what I'm saying? So not just, we want y'all to come in, be a part of it. It's free to come in, free to come do your thing. But really, we just want to capture that content so we can put the content out there and showcase the different talent this out there, doing their thing. So if y'all interested, I'm going to drop the flyer. We're going to get, 5-10 artists on those Thursday nights. Y'all come out, do y'all thing. But we're gonna continue doing these interviews, we're gonna continue talking, we're gonna continue podcasting. So make sure y'all tap into the Homie and Friends podcast. We on Instagram, we on YouTube. Make sure y'all tap into that. Yeah. And Woo and Shine, y'all let them know where they can find y'all.
Well,
too.
before we do that, just give me your props, bro, because like you've been continuous in this whole journey too since we started. You feel me? And you're like the only last remaining pillar in this town that could speak to that history. So, I think everybody should come out here and support you because we don't have a lot of history that's known. So, shout out to you, bro, for even still trying to make it make sense here. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, that's a risk and take balls too. So, and money and time. So, but
because we spending a lot of money for y'all to act like y'all don't know we in here. So I want y'all to come through, get that foot traffic through here, and once you come in here, I think y'all will understand and see what we got going on.
And y'all can find me. I'm everywhere, but most likely find me on Instagram at John Woo Got Beats, and Facebook under John Woo. So yeah, just find me online, and I'm Erykah Badu's friend. But yeah,
just add me on any social media. I'll get back with you.
What's the at?
Sean Barker.
Okay. I always spell your name wrong though.
That's Hean.
Yeah.
Barker.
I did that today. I was like, I keep typing SE, keep forgetting.
So yeah, y'all make sure y'all tap in. And like we said, it's the Homie and Friends podcast. Hey, I'm Top South Will, or One Eye Willie, whatever you want to call me. You can find me on the gram. You can find me on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I'm on all of them. So make sure y'all tap in. But that's the Homie and Friends. That's HOMI and FRNZ. So Homie and Friends podcast. And we got the clothing store over here, so but we'll get to all of that. Y'all come in, come check us out, come to the open mic night. We also gonna push out. We're gonna do the verses, but we ain't gonna call it the verses because that's Swiss Beats and Timberland Day. So we're gonna switch that. We're gonna switch that up to to something totally different. I got something cooking up for that, so we're gonna push that out soon too. So make sure y'all tap in, come out to that. Listen to the music and see how it evolved from Troy when he was doing his thing on up into Bread Boy and them doing their thing as well. And if you're a new artist, you want to come out here, you want to get an interview, make sure y'all tap in with me. We can set that up too, and we'll just make that happen. I'll tell y'all all about it when you tap in with me in my DM. Peace, love, blessings. We out of here.